My God, he owns you.
Right? You actually let this little bitch walk all over you 24/7.
What can I say?
Right? Oh, well. Also, hello, everyone.
Hello. It's not an actual person walking over Jimmy. It's just my
Yeah. No, it's totally like a real person walking all over Darian. He's
just
really
my
into
cat.
that.
It's just my cat.
Especially if it's high heels. You know, the pain is what gets him serious.
Well, we
So
gets him serious. That's good.
well, yeah, that's my favorite quote from Yu-Gi-Oh.
It gets me serious.
Yeah. A guy was doing like electroshock shenanigans.
Okay.
And made this face while saying this line.
This pain is what gets me serious. I love that. Gets me serious.
Right.
I don't know.
But okay. But I realize I'll just come off as a bloodthirsty asshole, so I bite my lip as I watch the black spot shifting off into the darkness.
Oh yeah, he had a spook.
He had a spider!
He had a spider spook.
I walk back towards Carl, hugging my shoulder as I try to control the chills running through me. Now I'm gonna be paranoid the whole time that I'm gonna be down. Yeah, coming back here. Let me actually read.
Just take it from the top.
I'm gonna be paranoid the whole time that it's gonna come back out to get me. Okay. Carl rubs my back when I stand next to him.
You know, they actually clean up a lot of the other bugs that get into the house.
I don't fucking care. Yeah, well, I'd rather be covered in ants than spiders. How's your feelings on that?
I'd rather be covered in ants than spiders. Well, it depends on what kind of ants.
Not just regular ants.
Probably be fine. It would just be annoying.
Okay, what if it's fire ants?
Then I would. It depends on the spider.
I was about to say, I could probably, like, fire ants would be, like, really annoying, but I'd rather that than spiders.
Hey, if there's a body of water nearby, it doesn't matter.
That spider will cling.
It's a lot harder to clean when you're, like, brushing yourself off in water.
Well, it depends on the type of spider.
True.
Because I know it's not a spider, but, like, ticks will hold on.
That's true, but they bury themselves inside you.
Yeah, that's why you put soap on them.
Ticks.
I found a tick just crawling on the floor a couple nights ago, and I didn't have anything.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, just in my house.
Like this late in the season?
Right. It was just like crawling, and like I didn't have anything close by to like do anything, but there was a bottle of soap. And so I just squirted it with soap, and it just kind of like stayed there for a bit until I could like grab something and crush its head.
There you go. You paralyzed them.
Well, they actually can't move in it.
Okay.
And they also can't breathe it. So they can still kind of breathe in water, I think. But like, so it's if you get a tick like stuck on you, you're supposed to put dish soap on it because they can't actually breathe it, and they will let go. And if you submerge in water, they won't actually let go.
Right.
So you use dish soap.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, he kind of just like was like couldn't get out of the puddle.
And then you start to perish.
Yeah, and then I grabbed a little thing and I like slowly crushed his head.
Good.
And then after I saw that the head was crushed, we then crushed the legs. And then I scooped him up in like a napkin and then threw him away.
Had to crush the legs next.
Well, because like I know it's like, oh, when you crush the head, that's when you know it's dead, but I still don't trust it because it's a tick. So
Fair.
Oh boy.
So I did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I had to like wipe the floor, because there's just soap on the floor now.
Yeah. You gotta clean up your mess.
Yeah, right.
You vicious murder.
I had to clean the cleaning.
Clean the vicious murder.
It's clear he's trying not to laugh at me as he starts popping the lid off of his bin. On top are a few framed pictures, and under those are a few more cardboard boxes. I released the latch on the other bin, keeping my eyes out for any black spots that might jump out at me, like a paranoid loser. This one is filled with bundles wrapped in cloth or paper. Carl drags his bin to the steps so that he can sit on them, and I follow suit. That is so smart.
So, how do you think you'll use this stuff?
I unwrapped a small bundle and look at the gold pocket watch underneath. Wow, well, not totally sure. Depends on what we find. Might film a few things. There's a paper tag attached to the chain with Robert Hendricks written on it. Who's this? Carl gives it a glance.
No idea. Probably a great uncle or something.
I wrap the pocket watch and reach back into the bin to pull out the next item. There's something really cool about old stuff. My mind wanders to who might have made it, who bought it, and how much shit is it must have seen. History was my first choice in the major, and then I realized what a bad idea that was to major in fucking history.
Facts.
But Dad put a stop to that real quick.
Yep.
I pull out various other things: dolls, a pipe, coins. What pipe?
Like a...
Yeah, whose initials are on it? And another pocket watch.
Probably JH.
Why not JB?
Because it's in the Hendrix stuff.
Okay.
It's just a thought. I don't fucking know.
I don't know either. I feel like this is worth a lot of money. Oh, why don't they sell it?
Probably, but it's family stuff. I think they want to do the museum.
He gives an awkward cough.
Besides, we've already got plenty of money.
He's got a binder open, looking at the white and black photos behind the plastic.
Hey, this is him, right?
He points at a picture of a very dingy-looking ram, thumb in his vest, wearing one of those big top hats. A fox stands next to him in a similar pose.
Who is it?
I can see a piece of yellowed paper set behind the photo and tug it.
Do we can see it?
Damn. James Hendricks. Yep, definitely him. And John Begay, huh? That's Jenna's last name. Carl's phone starts buzzing, and he grunts as he leans back to pull it out of his pocket. I'm sure that's nothing.
Probably not.
Oh.
No. Hey, Mom. Helping Chase with his project. No, of course not.
I look over at him, but he's... Jesus. Oh, you're just going to die over there?
I am. I've got like a tickle. It's really annoying.
Oh, okay. But he gets up and clops
With his hooves.
Back up the steps. I'm not used to seeing the word clop.
True.
So, looking back down at the picture, I wonder if it's just a coincidence, but I don't think so. Jenna's family has been an Echo since the beginning, too, so this guy definitely has to be a relative of some kind. I take a picture of the picture with my phone. I'll show it to Jenna later and ask if she knows anything about it.
To do what without a car?
Carl raises his voice, so I look back up the steps, wondering if he should close the door. Hearing him angry like that didn't seem right. His parents were always hard on him, but I guess they had their reasons. I spend the next 20 minutes shuffling through the bins, trying to be careful not to break anything. I decide I have enough and put the lids back on the bins, lining the stuff I picked out along of one of the steps, since I don't have anywhere else to put them. By the time I head back up into the actual basement, Carl's gone. As I approach Carl's room, I can smell it before I even open the door. He's reclined on his bed, an arm thrown over his face. The big window above is open. Clothes are scattered all over the floor, along with a few empty bottles, water bottles and bowls. Every inch of the wall are covered in posters, like I remembered, along with a few on the ceiling. Bookcases line the opposite wall, filled to the brim with comics and toys. He raises his arms as I walk in and smile.
I'm sorry about the mess, dude. It's hard to keep everything clean when my parents aren't here to yell at me about it.
The lazy, croakly sound in his voice has returned full force, his eyes distant. It's okay. Are you okay? He grins toothily.
Dude, I'm more than okay.
Since there's nowhere else to sit, I end up sitting down at the foot of the bed. Do they let you smoke in here? The smell in his room is layered and old, like the walls have been blanketed in the smell several times before.
Yep. They gave up trying to stop me. Better to be in the house rather than getting caught by some cop outside. They just made me promise that I would never try something harder. Good thing they don't know I've already tried dick.
He puts a lot of emphasis on the K as the bad joke seems to dribble out of his mouth. I lean back on the bed, and that's when I notice his flat screen, just a 48-inch, is on, a list of video files displayed on it. What you watching?
Oh,
Carl grunts as he sits up and reaches for a game controller.
our old home movies. I was going to show you some of them. How about a birthday?
Sure. He scrolls down the list, then stops when Carl's 8th is highlighted and pressed play. The backyard I was in an hour earlier pops up on the screen. Now a long table sits in the middle of the lawn, along with a massive bounce house. And not just any bounce house, but a giant 2-story one you'd find at a state fair.
Jeez.
The video is time-stamped at April 19th, 2002. Fuck, I remember this.
Now we know Carl's birthday.
Yeah.
Gotta remember to celebrate it next year.
April 19.
It's very
What's
good.
Leo's birthday?
I don't know, but you probably missed it this year.
I probably did.
What if Leo was born on Christmas?
Oh my god.
Our Christmas angel.
Right?
It could happen. I accidentally made one of my OC's birthdays on Valentine's Day.
Accidentally.
No, it was
I'm just hearing accidental
It was a complete
quotes.
no. It was a complete accident because I pulled February 14th out of my ass, completely forgetting it was Valentine's Day, and then I looked up like that day recently, and I'm like, wait a second. Oops.
Wow.
But it's fine.
Does he have an official birthday?
Is there a wiki for Echo?
Echo Project.
Oh my
Wiki.
god, there is.
Yeah, let's just scroll. It does not seem like he has one.
Ageless. Is Carl's birthday listed in his wiki page? Cause like
Carl. It's a Carl, not Cartel. No,
no, it's not listed. Okay,
it's not. It's not listed.
Dang. Okay.
Okay, wiki editors, tell me. Tell me when Leo's birthday is. I'll stream. I'll bake a cake. We'll have a great day.
That would be great.
And then I'll do another stream on April 19th. I'll bake a red velvet cake just for Carl.
So sweet.
That's so nice.
Right? There are about 20 kids, mostly in the bounce house, and most of whom I'd forgotten. Right now, though, the camera is zooming in on an 8-year-old Carl. He's messing with a giant Nerf gun, the kind that no kid ever gets because they're so damn expensive. And that's when 8-year-old me enters the picture, holding a smaller Nerf gun. His parents gave everyone a goodie bag that day. It had toys in it that I might not have been able to get on my own birthday. My kid self puts the gun to Carl's head and pulled the trigger, the dart bouncing off one of his horns. I specifically remember that moment. I had thought the suction end of the dart was going to stick, but of course it didn't. The audio is filled with a deep chuckle. Carl's dad behind the camera.
You were a dick back then.
Nothing changed. What? I was 8.
Still, you blew out my candles.
Oh yeah. He got so mad about that. I started to settle back and smile. It's been a long time since I've watched a home movie, and I've forgotten how nice it is to have this method of looking back. Kind of like when I got stuck on scrolling through all of the old images on my phone. My younger self is trying to help Carl with the gun, lifting up the barrel and looking into the opening. Careful! Kid Chase pulls his head back with a jolt as Carl's dad yells, then mutters behind the camera. Let's see how long it takes him to trick Carl into trading with him. Damn. Carl's dad sounds exasperated, but good-natured. It still makes me blush a bit, now knowing how aware Jim was of my taking advantage of his son. My struggles with the Nerf gun gets the attention of another kid, though. My breath catches my throat as Sydney bounces into frame. I can feel Carl tense up next to me, too, and he starts to lean for the controller. And here comes the Mormon boy. The disgust in Carl's dad's voice shook me, and I hear Carl whisper a curse next to me as he fumbles for the controller. Sydney reaches out and pulls the gun away from Carl as he looks over it, grinning. Hey! Suddenly, the screen switches back to the file menu, and we both sit there in silence for a few seconds.
Sorry, I guess I forgot that.
Of course, Sydney was going to be at that party, but I honestly had forgotten. If there was any way to perfectly ruin the mood, that had been it. I glance over at Carl and see him looking down at the gamepad, ears lowered, the insides red. Hey, it's okay. I mean, maybe it's a good thing to watch.
My dad, I didn't know he'd say that. I'd rather not find out what else he'd said.
Oh, yeah. I look around, trying to find something, anything to distract us from what just happened. My eyes fall upon the shelves holding Carl's games library. Want to play a game? Just like old times, as we co-op through Winter Castle. The fact that he still has this old save file from when he was in college makes it all the more nostalgic. I get into it. I get so into it that it gets dark outside without me even knowing, and pretty soon I'm looking out to the purple sky reluctantly. About time I go back. Carl sighs and pauses the game before stretching and dropping the controller onto his bed.
Oh, come on. Sure you can't stick around?
I don't know. I don't have any clothes or a toothbrush.
We can walk over and get them.
Carl seems pretty determined to make sure we stay, and there's no reason why I can't, so I relent. Alright, yeah, this could be fun.
Yes.
Carl looks happy and almost relieved.
It'll be just like old times.
Carl rolls in his hooves.
And speaking of old times, let's make a pizza.
I've suddenly caught Carl's enthusiasm. We got into the massive kitchen and pull a big frozen pizza out of the fridge, and while it bakes, we sit on the counter and talk. At this point, the haze of pot has lifted from Carl's face, and he's animated and excited again, swiveled on one of the countertop stools. For the first time in almost 10 years, I'm giddy and excited in the way you only get when you're at a sleepover. That makes it a little jarring when he pulls out some beers, but I'm happy to have a few, and we guzzle them down as we talk about past sleepovers. Pretty soon, our reminiscing drifts into the present, and that's when the conversation slows a bit, Carl having less to say. I try to change the subject and tell him that he should come back to school. He just smiles and shakes his head. Three hours later, we're both laying back on Carl's bed, head in tow, having just watched a shitty action movie. We didn't end up going out to get my stuff, so I'm just in my boxers, pleasantly drowsy and buzzed. I hear Carl snuffle and look down my chest at him. "What's up?" He looks me over and shrugs.
Nothing. Just thinking.
"About what?" During our past sleepovers, Carl had always been afraid to be the last one asleep. He tried to keep me up by talking, rolling over and rolling on top of me, and sometimes just throw something at me. I wondered if that's what he's doing now.
I don't know. Life?
That's a lot to think about.
Not for me.
I look over at him again. He's holding one paw up, looking through his fingers at the ceiling. "You're just figuring things out?" Carl lets his arm flop back down over his head, blowing out a sigh.
I'm not figuring things out, man.
I don't say anything. It's cool that he's reaching out to me, but I'm not sure if I can offer any advice that he hasn't heard before.
I just wish I could be doing something.
I think for a moment. You've done a lot more than people think, than some people I know. I mean, your art is great. You did go to school, even if you dropped out, and you were working while you could. There are a lot of people out here who can't even say that. Carl laughs, but it's a sad kind of laugh.
Try saying that to my mom. She's always got something to do, always wants something to do. I just don't feel that.
He turns his head towards me.
I wish I did, Chase, but I just can't.
His voice catches in his throat, and I shrink a bit into the bed and pretend not to notice. The beer we've had is definitely partly to blame for this. He turns his head towards the wall, though, and I'm guiltily relieved that that when he talks again, his voice is under control.
I just wish it wasn't such a goddamn chore for me to go outside, you know?
I don't know, but I nod anyway, even if he can't see. He's waiting for me to say something, though, so I clear my throat.
Oh, dang.
Well?
I mean, he does have a problem.
What are you going to say?
But it's fine. Does Carl's route have a bad ending and a good ending?
Yeah.
Damn it. Why do my choices have to have
Oh
consequences?
no! A game with variance.
No.
I do like this track.
It is very nice.
Right?
I mean...
Megan, what would you choose?
What was it?
So he's saying...
I would be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would be honest.
I'm kind of leaning toward this because I don't want to just sweep it under the rug and not help Carl get better.
He needs a push.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way, but maybe you should see a therapist.
Yes.
Sea cleaner, get out of here!
Good answer.
See cleaner.
There you go.
Okay, we got there.
He snorts and finally turns his head to look back at me, his horns bumping into the wall loudly.
Ha! I already do. I thought they'd just give me a pill to make things better, but apparently I have to actually make an effort, too.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, isn't that why I'm seeing you? For the whole make it an effort thing?
I laugh alongside him. Yeah, I can't remember what that's like. He watches me for a few seconds.
So is all those problems you had taken care of now?
Nope. I hope so. We lay in silence for a little while before I finally speak up. What you were shaken?
What do you mean?
Well, the cat just went like.
Yeah, I mean, I moved and he just reaches out.
He's like, no.
You're not going anywhere, right?
No.
I'm not. Here, take your paw back.
No. Smack. That's how you treat a cat. Listen, I'll probably come back a few times this week to work with that history stuff. Well, why don't we go out and do something?
That would be nice.
Yeah, we can go fishing. I grin, glad at making Carl feel better. Cool, let's plan it out. Let's plan on it. Carl puts his paw behind his head and smiles.
It's cool that you're here, Chase.
It's cool to be here, Carl.
And not just because it's nice to have someone to talk to.
Oh?
No, this house is fucking haunted.
Uh-oh.
That's probably fine.
This is fine.
Probably
This
fine.
is probably fine.
This is fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's a nice blue tint, so there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
I don't remember falling asleep, but it's at that moment that something wakes me up. I jolt, then lay there, trying to remember where I am.
Paralysis.
Ooh, that's the fun part, right?
Oh boy.
Carl's house. Huh, that's right. I stare at the ceiling, wondering what time it is. I don't bother to look at my phone, though, because I'm already starting to fall back asleep. A scraping noise from beneath me makes me jump, and I prop myself up on my elbows, listening. Looking over, I see Carl's staring at the ceiling, eyes wide.
Ew.
Carl?
Ew.
I whisper it, but I'm not really sure why. He jumps, then looks at me, confused, like he'd been just woken up.
Huh?
Are you okay?
Yeah, what's wrong?
I think I hear something. His floppy ears perk up.
I don't...
Then his eyes widen. Although I don't hear anything right then, he definitely did. You hear it?
Yeah, like a scraping noise, like a scraping noise I told you about?
Yeah. He looks happy. Why?
So I'm not fucking crazy.
Stop, Boo. Yeah, stop.
You stop that.
We both sit there and listen for a while, but it sounds like it stopped.
Wanna go see what...
Suddenly his eyes widen and his muzzle drops open in shock. I stare back. What?
Did you fucking hear that?
I listen, feeling my heartbeat pick up now that Carl looks fucking terrified. I don't hear anything. What?
A fucking voice!
The fur raises all over my body as I listen. But nothing. Carl definitely seems convinced though, so I listen harder. I just stare out. I just start to make out what might be a voice when Carl sits up next to me and gets out of bed. I feel myself start to panic. Did some crazy hobo break into the house? Carl gets off the couch.
Come on.
What? What are we going to do? Let's call the cops.
No, let's make sure first. This has happened before.
What? What do you mean? He puts a finger to his lips.
Grab something.
What? I follow Carl out into the kitchen, and he starts rummaging through the drawers. I follow him, hugging my shoulders, feeling a lot colder right now. With the sound of the metal sliding against metal, Carl opens a giant steak knife. What the fuck?
Dude, I've been hearing this shit for the past month, and I've been too scared to go down there. But now with you here,
He flashes me a smile.
I'm gonna find out what the fuck this is. Here.
He reaches out into a space between the fridge and the wall and pulls out a broom before sticking it out to me. I take it slowly. What am I supposed to do with this?
Hit him. Come on.
Carl starts down the stairs, and I follow behind, holding the broomstick in front of me like a sword. I've never had to hit anyone before with a stick. I have no idea what I'm doing. Once we get into the small door leading down to the crawl space, Carl pauses and we both listen. It's silent for a while, then... Shit. Carl looks at me like I'm crazy, not reacting to the noise at all.
Shh.
He leans down, a paw on the handle. Looking back at me, he signals me with his eyes to be ready. I grip onto the broom like a lifeline as I wait for him to swing the door open, and when he does, darkness.
Shit.
So whatever's down here is just slinking around in complete darkness?
Hey,
Carl says it unconvincingly, the fear clear in his voice. Then, after looking back at me,
fuck it.
he jumps down into the crawl space, disappearing into the darkness. Carl! I stumble up to the edge of the steps, trying to squint into the black. I hear Carl to the right, rustling around and cursing. Then, when the lights flood the crawl space, I quickly wobble down the steps, knowing that if whatever it is that is down here is going to try to escape, it would be running right into me. Finally, I have a moment to catch my breath, standing several feet behind Carl as I look around, broom at the ready.
There's nothing here. What the fuck?
Sure enough, the crawl place looks empty. There aren't many places to hide either. What the hell's going on, Carl? But he doesn't answer. He's staring at the bins.
Did you put the bins back?
I look down, and the bins are gone. I look back at where they were originally, and sure enough, they've been neatly stacked right where we found them. I honestly don't remember. Did I move them back? Maybe. It would be something I might do. I try, but I can't remember. Maybe.
Dude, come on.
I really don't remember. Carl walks further towards the back, ears perked, looking left and right as he clutches his knife. I start to follow, but that's when I notice something at the left of my vision on the ground. Looking down, I see something flat, hairy, ambling slowly over the tarp. A giant fucking tarantula. The following few moments are a blur, but the next thing I know, I'm going up the stairs on my feet and pause, grabbing at the door frame to pull myself up.
Chase, what happened?
I could hear him running up behind me, so I turned to warn him. Look out! A big spider! The breath kept catching at my throat. I think I'm hyperventilating. I'm still clutching at the door frame as Carl follows up behind me, his eyes wide.
What? Come on, Chase, this is crazy.
No! Huge! A blonde!
No fucking way.
Now he looks excited. What? And he looks back into the crawl space. I feel numb right now, like this is all too much to handle. What the fuck is even going on?
Which way?
Shakily, I point towards where the spider was crawling. Carl squints, then walks down the steps, looking around. Careful.
If it was really a blonde, there's not much to worry about. I hear they're actually pretty gentle.
I gulp and don't say anything. My head is pounding and and buzzing, which for some reason doesn't exactly feel like it has anything to do with the adrenaline rush. It's more like a bad headache. Carl looks around a little longer while I focus on the steps, making sure nothing starts crawling up them. I don't even care about the possible hobo anymore. Finally, Carl comes back, looking confused.
Well, there's nothing there. You know, sometimes I see shit when I'm really tired. Want to go back upstairs?
There's nothing here. This can't be fucking happening.
The party. Man, that was a short Tuesday.
Yep.
That was really short.
Yeah. So we'll end the part here.
Okay. That was wacky.
Wasn't it?
That was some wacky shenanigans.
Yeah. It's spoopy.
Yeah.
Kind of almost out the gate.
I know. I like it. That's pretty good.
Right?
I like that tone for Carl's route.
Yeah.
Good job.
So we'll see you around, everyone.